All right, so same concept as the last problem. What we have to do is, for the perpendicular bisector of AB, first we're going to have to find the midpoint of AB because the perpendicular bisector has to pass through that. So that's going to be one of the points on our line. Okay. After that, to get perpendicular, we have to use slopes that are negative reciprocals. So here goes. Okay. For me, I always like to draw the right triangle. So I, go straight down from A, straight across through to B. Okay. So that's going to get me my rise and run. It's a lot of good stuff to work with. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 up and down, so the rise. Okay. And the run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, a couple things are happening right there. There's my axis. So the origin is right here. Okay, now I got to get the midpoint of AB. Well, basically what we're going to take is the rise and cut it in half. So instead of going all the way from here to here at 6, we're going to cut it off. We're going to go half, so 3. Instead of going from here to here at 10, we're going to go half, 5. And then these meet right there. Okay, so that's going to be M, the midpoint, and it's over at 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the midpoint of AB, we're calling it, oh, that's going to confuse people. Okay, forget that I used M. Let's use P. Let's just say we use P. Let's call it P so that we don't confuse midpoint and slope. All right, so the point that we're going to pass through is over at 1, 3. So that's going to be x1, y1. Okay, now the slope of AB, that's where this rise and run come in. Okay, slope of AB, all right, that's going to be m equals rise over run, 6 over 10. And when we travel left to right, right, that's how we read a graph, left to right, it's heading down from A to B. Okay, so as we travel left to right, the, the line or the segment's going in a down direction. That's a negative slope. Okay, so what we're going to do, we could reduce that. Some of your teachers may require it, so let's just do that. So we could take out a 2. So it's negative 3 times 2 and 5 times 2, right? 10 is 5 times 2, negative 6 is negative 3 times 2. Knock out the common factors, you're at negative 3/5 for the slope. Now, for the perpendicular line, right, we want a slope that's the negative reciprocal. It already has a negative. A negative times negative is a positive, so 5/3. All right, then we're using the equation, y minus y1 equals m times parentheses x minus x1. Okay, next, our point was 1, 3, right? So x1 is 1, y1 is 3, so it's y minus 3 equals, the slope's 5/3, x minus 1. Now I would leave it like that. It's up to your teacher if they accept it in that format or not. Okay. All right, next, the measure. This means measure of. I know a bunch of my students are asking for that. If it's before an angle symbol, it means measure of. And it should be 140 degrees, 140 degree, or 80 degrees. Okay, so it's measure of. CHG, angle CHG. Okay, so right there. This opening, this angle from here to here, 140 degrees, and then E to G to I, all the way from there to there is 80 degrees. Okay. And ray GB bisects angle AGI. All right, let's just separate that a little bit. Let's try to mimic that with nothing else in there, really. Okay. If that whole angle's 80 and this bisects, we should get 40 and 40. Now, don't do that all the time. It is only because it says specifically bisect, which is 2 equal parts. Okay, so from here to here is 40, so it's from here to here. All right, are the lines parallel? Why or why not? So this is the first thing I like to do is separate the diagram. Now let's ignore this GI for a second here. Okay, let's focus just on this. This is potentially parallel lines cut by a transversal, but we don't know if they're parallel or not. So we have the transversal here. Okay, that would be FE, that line. It's 140 degrees in this position. What we just found, if you notice, is that angle EGB, this one right here, is 40. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, you know what? If that there is 40, okay, then I could say this is 40 by corresponding angles, right? And, oh, let me back up. If the lines were parallel, that was a bad move. All right, never mind. Let me do this. Linear pair. Would you agree that if I focus just on that I have 180 degrees total? So what I really should do is, if this is x, I should really say 140 plus x equals 180, and then x is 40. Okay, that's a better move. Here's why. Okay, if that's 140, this is guaranteed to be 40. From our earlier work, we found that that was 40. Now, going the correct way, what I see is these are corresponding angles and they're congruent. That means these lines must be parallel. So the answer is going to be yes. Okay. Now we got to take somebody through the explanation. It says why or why not. Okay, yes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say angle EGI is 80 degrees, the measure of. Okay, so focus on this part. We're going to break down exactly how we did this. Okay, so angle EGI. Measure of angle EGI is there, and it's saying GB bisects angle EGI. So the measure of angle EGB is 40 degrees. All right, we'll just start there for a minute. We got the 40 established, right? Okay, so now this is the first idea. Next idea that we're going to talk about here is angle CHI is a straight angle. That's weird. You don't have to say that part. All right, I'm just establishing it right here. Right, from here to here is a straight angle. So the measure of angle CHI is 180. Right? Now, the measure of angle CHG plus the measure of angle GHI should be 180, right? Because those add up, that's a linear pair. Those together add to the straight angle, angle CHI. You know, we could have also said linear pairs. The explanation could go a lot of different directions. Supplementary, go somewhere that explains why, you know, you're going to do, basically you're going to do this 140 plus x equals 180. You know, I'm trying to establish why I'm going to do that. Okay, so now I got 140 degrees plus x degrees equals 180. Okay, so sub in angle measures. And then we're going to subtract 140 from both sides. That's just algebra. And x equals 40. Okay, so we got 40 degrees. Okay, so the measure of angle GHI equals 40 degrees. Now, going back up here, what I'm going to say is angle EGB and angle GHI, those are corresponding angles. And since they both have the same measure, the lines must be parallel. Angle, what is it again? All right, hang on, sorry about that. EGB. EGB. Angle EGB. And angle GBI. Is that right? I don't think so. GHI. GHI. Okay, so angle EGB and angle GHI are corresponding angles. And they are equal. Both measure 40 degrees. Okay. What are the two lines again? Are the lines parallel? Yeah. AB is parallel to CD. AB is parallel to CD because when corresponding angles are congruent or equal, lines cut by a transversal must be parallel. Okay, we'll finish up on the next video.